Hello, everyone. Uh, Virgo, stop. Just stop right there. Because what I'm about to share with you is something most people never get to hear, and you need every single word of it. Not tomorrow, not later, right now. Because something in the energy surrounding you tonight is speaking so loudly, so clearly, so urgently that I would be doing you a profound disservice if I softened it or dressed it up in comfortable words. So I won't. What I'm going to give you tonight is the truth, raw, real, and entirely yours. There is a moment in certain ancient myths, the moment just before the great flood, just before the fire comes down, just before the earth cracks open and reveals what was hidden beneath, where everything goes completely still. The animals feel it first. The air changes. The light shifts into something almost golden, almost too beautiful, like the world is holding its breath. That is the kind of energy I feel around you right now. That sacred, trembling stillness that comes not before destruction, but before revelation. Something has ended. Or it may be in the final stages of ending. A connection, a chapter, a version of yourself that you wore for so long, it began to feel like skin. And the walking away, whether you were the one who left or the one who watched someone leave, has hollowed out a space inside you that the noise of everyday life keeps trying to fill and cannot. Because that space was not made for noise. It was made for truth. And the truth is what we are going to sit with tonight. Let me speak to the symbolism of what a separation truly means, because the world will tell you it means failure, loss, ending. But there is an older and wiser language for it. In the great wheel of existence, every departure is also an arrival. Every door that closes with a sound that breaks your heart is simultaneously, on the other side, a door swinging open into air you have never breathed before. The wheel turns. It has always turned, and no position on that wheel, not the highest, not the lowest, is permanent. What feels like the ground dropping out beneath you may be the beginning of learning that you were never meant to stand on that particular ground to begin with. You walked away, or they did. And in the aftermath of that, in the long, strange silence that follows when something that once filled your world is suddenly absent, you may have started to question everything. Whether it was the right decision, whether you gave up too soon or held on too long, whether what you had was rare and you were too broken or too proud or too frightened to save it. These thoughts, I sense, have visited you in the dark, have sat at the edge of your bed at 3 a.m. and refused to be reasoned with, have whispered things that your rational mind rejects, but your heart keeps returning to like a bruise it cannot stop pressing. And here is where I need you to lean in. Because what I'm about to say may feel uncomfortable at first, may feel like something you want to deflect or dismiss, but I'm asking you to stay with it. The walking away, whatever form it took, was not simply a failure of love. It may have been love operating at its highest, most difficult frequency. The frequency that says, this is not right. Not for me, not for who I am becoming, not for the life that is waiting on the other side of this pain. Sometimes the most profound act of love for yourself and even for another person is the refusal to remain in something that has quietly stopped being true. There is an image that comes to me, a great tree in a storm. You have seen trees in storms. The ones that survive are not the ones that go rigid, that refuse to bend, that clench themselves against the wind with everything they have. Those are the ones that crack. The ones that survive, the ones that are still standing when the morning comes and the air is clean again, are the ones that know how to move with what they cannot control, that know how to bend so deeply it looks like breaking, and then slowly, surely find their way back to vertical. You are that tree. And this storm, this walking away, this separation, this rupture is not breaking you. It is revealing the depth and flexibility of your roots. Roots that go far deeper than you have ever been asked to know before. But now I want to speak to the part of this that nobody talks about. The part that exists beneath the grief, beneath the questioning, beneath the replaying of every conversation and every moment where things might have gone differently, because there is something else here, something that has been growing quietly in the shadow of all that pain, the way the most extraordinary things grow in the dark, without fanfare, without anyone watching. There is a version of you that is emerging from this experience that is more real, more clear, more powerfully itself than anything that came before. I can feel it in the energy around you. It is not yet fully formed. It is still tender in places, still finding its edges, but it is unmistakably, undeniably there. You could be entering a phase of what I can only describe as sacred reconstruction, the kind that happens after a great fire moves through a forest, and yes, the destruction is real, and yes, the loss is real, and the landscape looks unrecognizable and strange and wrong. But beneath the ash, the soil is richer than it has ever been. And the things that grow in that soil, the new things, the unexpected things, the things that could never have found sunlight while the old dense canopy was still overhead, they grow with a vitality, a color, a wildness that the forest had never seen before. You are in that soil right now, and something in you is about to bloom in a way that the person you were before this separation would not have recognized as possible. Let me also speak to how the world around you may be shifting, because this is not only an internal story, there is an external dimension to what is unfolding that I feel very clearly. The people in your life, some of them, perhaps the ones you least expect, may be beginning to see you differently, not because you have performed a transformation for them, but because something in your presence has changed. The quality of how you carry yourself, the subtle but unmistakable shift in the energy you bring into a room. There is something about a person who has walked through real pain and come out the other side still standing that commands a kind of involuntary respect. People feel it before they understand it. They are drawn to it without knowing why, and the person who walked away, or the person you walked away from, may be feeling something they did not anticipate feeling. Because separation has a strange and almost cruel way of clarifying value. Distance does what presence sometimes cannot. It makes visible what was invisible when it was simply always there. What I sense in that energy is not something I can speak to with certainty, because that is not mine or yours to control. But there may be a dawning awareness on their side of the magnitude of what they are no longer in the presence of, not as a source of hope to cling to, but simply as a truth worth knowing. Your worth was never contingent on their recognition of it, but the recognition may be coming regardless. Now I want to speak about what may be approaching, because there is a threshold quality to this moment, the sense of standing at the edge of a new landscape that you cannot yet fully see. The mist is still thick, the path is not yet clear, but the direction feels true. And I sense that opportunities may begin to appear in your life that feel different from what came before, not louder, not more dramatic, but somehow more aligned, more fitted to the shape of who you are now rather than who you were. The universe has a strange and precise way of sending the right things at the right moment, not when we demand them, not according to our timeline or our plan, but at the exact moment when we have done enough inner work to be ready to receive them without immediately sabotaging them. You may be approaching that moment. The readiness may be closer than it feels. And the truth I promised you at the beginning of this reading is this: the walking away was not the end of your story. It was not proof that you are unlovable or too much or not enough or destined to repeat the same patterns forever. It was a chapter, a necessary, painful, transformative chapter. And the chapter that comes after, the one that begins in the soil of everything you've been through, nourished by the depth and the honesty and the courage it takes to survive your own broken heart. That chapter is going to be unlike anything you have read before. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not too late for anything that is truly meant for you. You are exactly where the most profound version of your life needed you to be, right here, right now, in the aftermath of something real, standing in your own truth, beginning to remember who you were before you made yourself smaller for something that couldn't hold you. Stand in that, breathe into that, let it settle somewhere beneath the grief, somewhere deeper than the doubt, somewhere that the noise of the world cannot easily reach. And know with every part of yourself that is still standing that you are not just surviving this, you are being made by it. If this found you tonight, if it landed somewhere true, trust that, stay close, subscribe, and keep coming back, because there is more waiting for you here. More clarity, more truth, more of the language your soul has been searching for. This reading was just the beginning.